King is back, baby. I'm on gas. Yo, Fresh with it. He's fat.
You there, sitting at home, acknowledge me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Turnbuckle Weekly Podcast. I am your host, Casey, and with me, as always, is my co-host, a man who doesn't grill his hot dogs, he inserts them. It's Leon. How you doing, buddy?
Well, how do you want me to answer that?
I want you to answer it with telling everybody that you eat hot dogs with your butt.
I don't, though. We proved this already.
Listen, let me tell you about something being jammed. We were in a jam about last night. We were in a real jam. We was like, oh, hell. What are we going to do today? Well, then I just started kind of going through, and I was like, who can I try to get for next week? You know, next week maybe. Maybe we can go ahead and get this lined up, because we got a couple weeks out booked. We don't have the next 2 weeks booked because I'm an irresponsible booker. Now, so I'm just going through last night, and I was like...
He admitted it.
I have my list at the house, it's a little journal I got.
Your little diary.
My little diary, my little black book. And I have lists of names. And they're just like, I don't want to talk to this person. I want to talk to this person. And I have a page. I don't want to talk to this person. I'd like to do this. I want to do this later. Well, I go to my I want page and I look at number 2. And I was like, you know what? I was going to wait. But I'm going to go ahead and try him out. And on less than 24 hours notice, we got Cortland Moore. So without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more of this man's airtime, ladies and gentlemen, and Leon. Cortland Moore, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good.
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. I was off today. I'm in my pajamas. I drove my Tahoe in my pajamas over here to do this because I wanted to be the most relaxed I could be today. And Leon's looking at me weird because my pajamas, everybody, is a really long Rowdy Piper shirt and no underwear. So he's
It's
looking at me
not.
real.
It's not. It's not. I promise it's not.
I was wearing my Rowdy Piper shirt. I just put on my pot shirt instead for this.
And a pair of breeches.
And some britches. Yeah, but this ain't about my britches. This is about Cortland's. This is Cortland's episode. So I'm not even going to waste time. I'm not even going to get into it. You and...
Every time you open up your mouth, you waste time.
Cortland, you are going to be one of my favorite episodes because you and I share 2 of the exact same loves at the same time. And we both try to have as much as we can to do with it, and that is wrestling and music, specifically metal music, which for some reason goes such hand in hand. So, out of the 2, which one started being like, this is what I want to do? Like, where did we start, and then how did we get to the other?
I've been playing guitar since I was about 4 years old. So I grew up in a musical household. My dad played, guitar and played different local bands and stuff like that all the way, all of my life. And as far as I know, he probably still plays music. My brother was in a band growing up. So there was a lot of music in my household. So I'm talking like my dad was AC/DC and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Ted Nugent. He was blues, southern rock, all that. My mom, on the other hand, was Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, the country, southern rock kind of thing. So I grew up in a very diverse set of music in the house. So it's not uncommon for me to pick up a guitar and, play some Brad Paisley or play some Slayer or, something like that. So music's always been a thing that I've done. It's always been a big part of my life. And right around the time that I was starting to kind of figure out how to play guitar, my brother introduced me to 2 things. He introduced me to Metallica's Black Album, and then he introduced me to WWF. So it was kind of like hand in hand at the same exact time that I was like hearing this music at the same time that I was discovering wrestling, and it was like it went hand in hand, like you said. It was like the attitude of Metallica, the attitude of Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was just like the perfect storm of chaos that my brain just gravitated to.
And it's so weird how they do line up. See, I have a very similar kind of thing, except the musical household. We were not a musical household. I have a brother who's a pretty B+ drummer. I think he wouldn't be offended if I said a B+ drummer, and he has a son
And you can
who's
play drums until your drummer gets there.
yes, but now he has a son who's like a musical savant, and this kid gets offered to go to like England and France over Christmas, and he's like, no, my friends aren't going. So I had to slap him and be like, what's wrong with you? Go to the UK, son. But we had the weird thing of like not having dads. We had our mom listen to mom music. I'd see my dad every once in a while. It's the same thing as the AC/DC, the Zeppelin, a lot of Motley Crue and a lot of Iron Maiden. And then like my mom was listening to Fleetwood Mac and Bruce Springsteen and like Billy Joel and that. But me and my brother, we hung out with
Your mom's taste in music rules.
Dude, my mom's, she used to back in the day. Now she listens to like TikTok music. And like she'll send me like a song and she's like, have you heard this song? And it's just something stupid.
It's like 25 seconds.
What was that?
Said nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday.
Yeah, it's kind of exactly like that. It's like she sends me, have you ever heard this before? Yes, mother, I also have a smartphone.
If I hear Jet 2 Holiday one more time in my house, I'm going to take a jet to a holiday and get that 200 pounds off.
Come to my house, it's just blood-curdling screams from gunshots.
Like I'll be sitting there and like playing 2K or whatever, and I hear the little jingle start, and I'm like, here we go again. And it's like, nothing beats a Jet 2 Holiday, and I'm like, no.
No, see, but
No.
back to the plot.
I can't.
So my mother listened to all these wonderful musicians, but she had the misfortune of being poor. So we lived in the projects. We grew up in predominantly Black and Hispanic communities. So there's a lot of hip hop in the house. Like my brother's upstairs dyeing his hair blonde, listening to My Name Is by Eminem, and like, no, that's his beard now. He used to bleach blonde his hair. He would fade his hair when he had it, and he would bleach it blonde, and he would dress in like FUBU, and it was silly looking back at it. But back then he thought he was the coolest dude in the world, and I'd go run around with him, listen to hip hop. But then we get back behind closed doors, and he'd be like, all right, here's some Metallica. Let's listen to a little bit of Slayer. You know, like listen to a little bit of Judas Priest. And like, so we were closet metalheads, but on the streets we were like, yeah, we love gangster rap, knowing nothing about that life. So like he and I would just sit with his drum set, and I would like listen till he play. And then he was in a band and he needed a bassist. And he looks at me up and down and he goes, you have fat fingers, pick that up. And that's how I got started. Like that's how I got musically inclined.
You were forced to it.
Yeah, my brother forced me because I was like, I don't want to play bass. Bass players suck. I want to play guitar. And then he just beat the piss out of me for like 2 hours. And then I was like, fine, I'll play bass on your Slipknot song. Like, crying.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. So like my brother like introduces me to Metallica, and it was legitimately like it was the Black Album.
Yeah.
But then he hands me Vulgar Display of Power by Pantera, and that just like that changed my life. Like growing up, my two favorite guitar players up until middle school were Dimebag Darrell and Stevie Ray Vaughan, which couldn't be two polar opposites really if you think about it.
No, that
Like once I started hitting like, man, it was like 4th or 5th grade. I had a friend named BJ that introduced me to Korn and to Slipknot and sort of bands like that. But then also at the same time, you're also getting that, you're right on like what, the Eminem show, so Eminem's like at his peak.
yeah.
So I'm listening to a lot of like Eminem and like all that stuff too, but it wasn't until middle school when I really started to dig into like the heavier music, because believe it or not, MTV still played music videos. You just had to go to MTV2.
Yeah. Headbangers Ball.
Jamie Josta hosted Headbangers Ball, and that's when I was introduced to a bunch of different bands.
Same.
And then so that was when I was introduced to like Hatebreed and all those bands. So if it wasn't for Headbangers Ball, I'm not necessarily sure I ever would have really broke out of that like 90s metal scene, because Korn and Slipknot were all in that like 90s metal scene too.
Yeah.
So I don't think I ever would have broke out of that, but then that unfortunately, for better or worse, took me down a rabbit hole of like, here's deathcore, here's grindcore, here's metalcore, here's post-hardcore, here's all these other bands, there's like all this crazy stuff, but at the same time, you could get on regular MTV and go to TRL, and that's when I seen the Backcountry video from Avenged Sevenfold for the first time, and I was like, this is the coolest band ever.
So Leon's in his 20s. He's looking like we're talking German right
26.
now. He's in his
26.
20s. That Backcountry video, that hooked me into, like, because my big thing back in the day was when my brother would come to me about music, about wanting to know who a band was, it was because they existed in the 70s. Like, my favorite band is Kiss, regardless of how most people feel about them. Like, so I like bands of that line, more
Okay,
hair.
pause. Before this goes on any further, are you a makeup era or non-makeup era Kiss fan?
Okay, so I like both, but I know that's not an answer. So it's
Okay,
it's
let me
makeup.
rephrase.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your favorite makeup era album? And what is your favorite non-makeup era album?
Non-makeup era album is Creatures of the Night. I have it on vinyl. And makeup era will always be Dress to Kill. Like, I know Dress to Kill was like a compilation sort of, because there's a lot of already released hits on that album, but like that's where I heard
Creatures
rock
was
and roll.
makeup era.
Oh no, Creatures was makeup era. Oh no, because Eric Carr had the Fox makeup on. It was oh crap.
You just got punked out by Cortland Moore on your own podcast.
It's a makeup era. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's like one of the last makeup era albums.
Oh my god, I always tie it in with like I don't remember the name of the album that Heaven's on Fire's on. I always get the two confused. I can't remember the name of that. I hit the pen a little too hard, and then I got questioned on Kiss without being ready for it.
Heaven's on Fire is on... Dude, what is that on? I'm looking at it right now. I got it pulled up.
Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits is not an answer for favorite post-metal, because that's the greatest hits. But it's probably that. Because they had God Gave
It's on
Rock.
Animal.
That's right. Yeah, because the cover's like a leopard skin or something, like there's several different animal skins, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But like, yeah, that's my band. And then my brother comes in and he's like, hey, listen, I need you to learn this really difficult bass part, and I'm not excited about it either. And he hands me some sheet music, and I'm looking at it, and it's a Tool song. And
I can't stand Tool.
So my feelings
I'd rather
about...
listen to Primus.
Oh, wow, dude, I could do a whole hour about Primus.
So, I have my two favorite Kiss albums, makeup, non-makeup. Makeup Era is the first album because it's nothing but hits.
Yeah.
Like every song on that album, like front to back, that album rules. And to be the very first album, and I know Rock and Roll All Night and God of Thunder and all that stuff came later, but when you look at the original one, you got Strutter, Nothing to Lose, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Deuce is on there, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond, like that album's killer. My favorite non-makeup era though is Revenge.
Revenge was good. Revenge is where we got what's the actor? Because I always used to call it Rocket Loud because I was a little kid when it came out. But
I love it.
Love It Loud. Yeah, I Love It Loud. I Love It Loud was on that, and then dude, that was actually that was a Bruce Kulick album, I think, if I'm not wrong, where he filled in for Ace. I think.
So Revenge has God Gave Rock and Roll to You Too.
Yeah, that's so good. God Gave Rock and Roll. I watched Bill and Ted too.
I Love
Just
It
for that
Loud's
song.
not on there. Revenge has got Unholy and Spit's the coolest song on that album.
Oh yeah. See, you said that first album. My mind is just full of Black Diamond. As soon as you said that first, all I've been able to think about is Black Diamond.
Matter of fact,
it wiped my hard drive.
The original, this will tell you how little I was. My first concert was the original reunion makeup tour in like '96
That's
in Evansville at Roberts Stadium.
I was 4 years old, and my mom wouldn't even let us attempt to go with my uncle.
Yeah, we went.
Broke my
We
heart.
sat in the nosebleeds, which wasn't really that far away in Roberts Stadium. Because looking back on it now, I'm like, that building was not very big at all. But that was the reunion tour, like the first one. It was probably like the second leg or something of it.
Right.
Because I think it actually started in like 95 or something. And I don't even remember who opened, but I can remember a couple things about it because it's ingrained in my brain. And to this day, Chris Waddell swears this never happened, but my mom has confirmed this. Right before Gene's about to do the fire at the end of Firehouse, he's on the side of the stage and he's getting his stuff ready. My mom walked me down. This is when concert security was pretty lax. So my mom picks me up, walks me down as far as she can because we were on the side of the stage, like nosebleed side of the stage.
Right.
Walked me down as close to the stage as she can, and Gene looked at me and threw up the horns and then walked out and blew fire.
Dude, that I would have just been able to die happy at 4 years old if that had happened to me. Like that's how that was when I was like a kid.
That was my first concert.
My first concert.
I've been seen Kiss several more times after that.
My first concert was also around that era. We're gonna get to Leon in a minute, who doesn't listen to anything we're talking about. I actually can't tell you one band this guy over here listens to, but my first concert, my grandparents took me to Kentucky Motor Speedway to see Marshall Tucker Band and Bad Company. And
Hell yeah.
I had no idea who either of these bands were. All I knew was my grandpa was going to buy me a triple cheeseburger from the Wendy's food cart that was there, because that's all I cared. I was a little fat kid. I just wanted that Wendy's. And then, like, I remember sitting there and I'm eating my hamburger, and there's this old dude that I didn't know, that my grandfather didn't know, and they're passing what looks to be a cigarette back and forth. Then I start noticing that cigarette smells like the ones Mama smokes when she gets too stressed out with us, and like there's so much drug use just going on around. I look around, I'm the youngest person there by about, I don't know, 35 years, 40 years. I mean, it's crazy. And then I fell in love with Can't You See? That was the song that Marshall Tucker opened with. They only played like 4 songs. It was wild. And the Bad Company gets up for like 2 hours and just tears it up. And that's when I fell in love with classic rock. Then my brother's like, hey, I need you to play this Tool song. I learned the Tool song. And then he's like, hey, now we need you to switch over to rhythm guitar, because I guess they got in a fight with their rhythm guitarist or whatever. And now I need you to learn how to play guitar. And then I had to start learning how to play grunge, because they started going through their Kurt Cobain was a god phase that every teenager seems to go through when they discover Nirvana, and they're rebelling. So it was like learning how to play, Kurt's parts while the lead guitarist overcomplicated all of Kurt's parts. And like it was really fun. But like, oh dude, see, I knew it when as soon as I got into music, we were gonna fall into a hole. I've been sitting here staring at Leon. He's like, I don't know any of these bands.
I didn't get into Nirvana until, I don't know, a couple years ago. I just never, always kind of liked some of the hits, but I was never really like big on Nirvana. My Seattle band was Alice in Chains.
Oh, dude, Alice in Chains is top tier.
That was, to me, that was Seattle. And I mean, there are so many good bands that came out of there, but like when all my friends were like real big on Nirvana, I was like, dog, if you listen to Alice in Chains, because Lane Staley like walks the floor with Kurt Cobain lyrically, like performance wise and like the actual writing side of it.
We have
it's crazy to me that Lane Staley was even a human. Like, I feel like he was an alien put on this planet that was like, you're not ready for this.
I listen to Nutshell in the car with my kids a lot, because I'm trying to like impress upon them kick-ass tunes. And like I'm sitting there and I'm listening to the song, and like a tear will drop down my face, and my 13-year-old, I forget how old he is now because I've had a stroke today. The 13-year-old will look at me and he'll be like, Dad, why do you listen to this song if it makes you cry? And I always quote the Alex Jones meme that plays over it, because I like the pain. The pain is real. And I just tell you, it's because the pain is real. We have a kid up at work, matter of fact, before I lose it. His name is Lane, and we were just bullshitting one night. He's like 17 years old, and I noticed that his name is spelled the same way. I just never said anything about it. And then we were talking about music. Like, he was asking me for some music. I turned him on to like Sleep Token and some like weirder stuff. And then he's like, yeah, man, he's like, I really just love this stuff. He's like, I was named after a rock star. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah, I was named after the guy from Alice in Chains. And now I want to hug his dad. Like, so hard I want to hug his dad. And then he's like, yeah, all of us are. Some of his brothers are like 10 years older than him. So, like, he has brothers each named after a lead singer. I can't remember all of them now, but I want to hug their dad so hard. Just because of Lane. He was like, yeah, he's like, he let me hear a Rooster, I think it's called. He's like, that song, like, ripped my soul out, man. He's like, it's so heavy, dude. And I was like, it is. I was like, I'm so glad that 17-year-olds are discovering this, because it's beautiful music. It's especially Alice in Chains. Like, Seattle is slept on a lot when it comes to stuff like that, because everybody just goes, oh yeah, Nirvana, I guess Soundgarden. Like, everybody forgets about how much was Mother Love Bone, I think, came out of there. Yeah, Pearl Jam. Like, there were so many bands that were coming out of that time.
Pearl Jam guy, though.
I like 4 songs. I used to cover Black. I used to play music in a bar on weekends for a little extra money, and I would cover Black because divorced dads love that song. And that tip jar would get real heavy when you start playing a little Pearl Jam. If you hit the right ones, you can get some dad rock aficionados out there moving.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I like 2 Pearl Jam songs.
I'm going to try to guess them. Are they hits?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm imagining Even Flow is on that list.
Yep.
And then the other one's either going to be Jeremy or Last Kiss.
It's Jeremy.
Look at this.
That's one of the best sounding opening bass lines of a song of all time.
Oh, dude, it's phenomenal. And see, that's what really disappoints me with my co-host over here. He is also a musician. He knows nothing that we're speaking of, and every time I go to show him one of these songs, like, you should learn how to play this, he's like, I'm not like a lead guitarist, I'm a rhythm. I was like, it's 90s, it's all rhythm. It's all rhythm guitar all the time.
Jennifer hates anytime, like, something comes on the radio, because it's like, if I have my guitar, it's like immediately I'm playing. She's like, you just listen to that. I'm like, yeah, so, but
Yeah.
like, that's the way my brain works. Like, I'll hear something one time, and then it's like, I can quote it, or I can be like, hey, I think I know how to play that, and I'll go grab the guitar and play. Like, there was one day I was just sitting here in the studio, and I was working on a song, and I was working on this solo that I was writing, and I, in the middle of doing it, realized, hey, this pattern that I'm playing, this is really familiar, and I started playing Inspector Gadget.
I did that with a Batman theme song from the 66 Batman.
And then I was like, now I'm going to learn the Phineas and Ferb theme song, and I did that.
Phineas and
I
Ferb
learned,
is awesome.
I learned some SpongeBob stuff. Like, dude, my brain's all over the place.
Oh no! Now you
SpongeBob and Phineas Ferb is crazy.
Now you're getting up the child on the podcast. So I'll tell you though, it's like it's really weird how stuff like that happens, and like it seems to be a common theme with musicians. Like, I have the same thing with my ex-wife, because I don't really play guitar in the room with my girlfriend now. She usually like will look at me and go, hey, take that shit in the other room, please. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. My ex-wife would just put up with it just because I'd be like, shut up, I'm playing guitar, because I was a bad husband. And I did that to her with Night Moves. Like, I just heard Night Moves one day. I think she was watching Supernatural or something on Netflix, and it ended with that. And I was like, dude, Seeger is the shit. Like, Seeger is awesome. And I keep listening. I was like, dude, this guy was like next level. This guy's he's ahead of his time. And I got my guitar in my hand, and then I just start figuring out the strumming pattern to Night Moves. And then I couldn't figure out a part. So I listened to Night Moves like 85 times in 2 days. That's the only song that played in the house. She'd wake up in the morning, I'd be listening to Night Moves, you just hear, oh my God, and then the door would slam. And I'd be like, sorry. I'm trying to get in there and smoke a joint. Can you stop with the Bob Seger? I was like, no, this is the perfect time for it. Get in here. I'm playing Seeger. And yeah,
I'm about to ask you the most nerdiest music question of all time.
I can't wait.
And then we're going to totally lose the audience on this, because they're going to be like, what in the world are they talking about?
I live to lose the audience. Don't worry.
Since you play guitar,
Yes.
I want to know, and I want to see if you agree. What key do you think Sweet Home Alabama is in?
So I've always been told that it's in key of D, but I never knew the actual answer. I just play the chord progression and hold on.
It's in G.
Ah.
It's a 1-4-5 in G. G, C, and D.
Yeah. That's all I do for it. But yeah, it would be in the key of G. See, all the people who taught me music were just dudes in the backwoods, and you play everything with
Another
four
reason why
chords.
I'll tell you it's in G is you play the lead in G.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a super nerdy question.
That
and
is
only
the-
like real hardcore guitar players that actually like Skinner are going to be like, oh man.
see this is where I'm
The
gonna.
only reason I know that for the longest time, like anytime I would like when me and my brother were playing music, we did a cover band that was around here called Brothers Gray, and anytime we would like write out sets of 4 hours of music, we never really put what the key of the song was in. It was usually whatever the first chord of the song was. So Sweet Home Alabama on the set list would say Sweet Home Alabama, D. And that wasn't
Yes.
even for any of the rest of us. It was for my brother. Like he'd be like, anytime I'd be like, what's this song start in? I'd be like, D. Oh, I don't know why I was thinking it starts in G. Well, because it's in G, but it starts in D.
Yeah, see, the confusion happens, and that's the other thing about guitar is like I play guitar, but I am the rhythmist of rhythm guitarists that exist. For the longest time, I have a buddy that I play music with out in Whitesville here and there. We're the kind of friends that don't talk for a year at a time, and then just one of us will randomly message the other one and go, "Hey man, you want to drink a beer and play guitar? Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow." And then we don't talk again for another like year. But we'll get together and like play certain songs and stuff like that. And he's like, okay, so this song here, you're gonna hit this G, you're gonna hit this C, and then you're gonna hit the F. And what he does is he does the F that it's just literally moving your hands down, from the
a
C.
C, yeah.
But I do the power chord F for everything.
Yeah.
And as soon as he's like, no, because I did my F, and he went, no, that doesn't work here. I was like, what do you mean it doesn't work here? F. And then he goes, here's my F. Here's your F. Do you see how they're the same but they're different? I was like, yeah. He goes, that's why. And for the longest time, I was like, nope, I don't like that F. I don't like, because I don't play my C like that. I play C add 7 all the time or C add 9. And I'm like, this is country music C's. And he's like, well, we're not playing that, dumbass. You got to play this C. You got to play this F. I've gotten to where I'll do it. But when I say the rhythmist of rhythms, it's because I was switched around so much. My brother was like, he's our drummer. That's constant. And we got a lead guitar. That lead guitar was constant. Sometimes they bring in a rhythm that was better than me. I'd have to move back to bass. And then I'd have to go from bass to guitar. And then I would have to go. Then my brother leaves and they need a drummer and I can drum a little bit. So then I had to move from guitar to drums. I'm a jack of all instruments and a master of none. I think I functionally play 7 instruments. And functionally just means I can kind of read their sheet music.
I can't read music at all.
I play by
Everything do is
ear,
right
so.
here. I can read tab,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's about it. I don't read music, and it's one of those things where it's like, I've been where I used to sneak into the Eagles and the Legion in Central City all the time because
Yeah.
I used to be able to get in the back door. Like my dad was playing down there, my brother was playing down there, all my brother's friends, everybody knew who I was. Everybody knew that I wasn't there to drink. They knew I was just there hanging out. And a lot of times I'd get up and I'd do songs. And most of the time it'd be stuff I know. But then every once in a while I'd get a curveball thrown my way. And, my dad used to play in this band that played around here called Loose Wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd get in and they'd be like, oh, well, sing one. And I'm like, oh, my God, what's my go-to things that's easy for me to sing? Because I'm not much of a singer. And I'm like, I'll throw out, let's do Johnny Cash. We'll do Folsom Prison Blues. But we do it. I'd make them do it the way me and my brother did it, which was coming out of the lead, you hang out in E. And then I'm going to hit Get Rhythm. I'm going to hit one piece at a time, and I'm going to hit A Boy Named Sue before I go out of it back into Folsom. And so I'd have to turn my guitar towards them and just be like, just follow where I'm at. Just, stay in E, hang out with me. Or they'd be like, hey, we're going to do this blues song. so it's in G, and I'm like 145 G or like something stupid. They'd be like something stupid, and I'd be like, I'm gonna listen, and then I'll just kind of hang out. But I was always thrown into that fire with my dad too. Like my dad would just be like, get up and play one with them, go do the, and like my dad and my brother would do it, and like when I was a little kid, I was in elementary school. My dad's big show-off thing to all his buddies that he was playing music with was, like, JC, come here. I'm like, okay. He'd be like, go grab my guitar and play Thunderstruck. Oh. And that's a cool party trick when your 5-year-old's playing Thunderstruck.
Yeah, that's sweet.
But then, like, as I got a little older, like 7, 8, 9 years old, when my dad would play places that kids could go, so they'd play, like, family parties or things like that, they'd actually get me to get up and start doing songs with them. And then my brother did the same thing. My brother would play, they played in a rock and roll band around here in the early 2000s called Hypertension. And they would get up, and they'd have me get up and do stuff with them. So I was always kind of thrown into the fire. So it was like anytime somebody's like, hey, get up and do a song with somebody, I'm like, all right. And then I'm the guy that's like, we'll do Johnny Cash, or we'll do Shaky Ground, like stuff like that. Like I throw out the easy like 145 bar songs to do.
Yeah, I have a playlist in my phone that literally just says bar music, and it's all the music we played in it. What I always hated about doing those is like you'd go in and play, you'd be getting ready for your set, and if you're not the first guy up, you're waiting a minute, and then the guy before you plays half your set list, and you're like, shit, and then you gotta run outside. I got lucky though. I did like a hide the things I can't do by getting guys who can do the stuff I can't do, so I could do what I'm good at. And I would surround myself with like bomb musicians. So I get, I'm in the Montgomery, Alabama scene, which is really weird down there. I was living in Alabama for a while. It's a real weird scene. I've got a dude that lived in Britain for a while that had a Grammy, and then we were like, how'd you get a Grammy? And he's like, oh, studio. He's like, I just played studio on a Pink album. She won a Grammy for the album, so I get a Grammy. We're like, that's sweet. And like, so I've got this guy, and then he's got a guy who could play Stevie Ray Vaughan licks from heart. So one day we're just practicing around, and I was like, is that Pride and Joy? And he's like, yeah, you know Pride and Joy? I was like, yeah, dude, my mom used to make me listen to the Vaughan brothers all the time. And then we would hit it out. And then we had to start figuring out how to maneuver around. Like, all right, everybody tonight is going to definitely do Wagon Wheel. So that's gone. Everybody tonight is probably going to do Jumper or Semi-Charmed Life from Third Eye Blind. So no Third Eye Blind tonight. I had to learn how to play so many songs just on the fly because these dudes were like, no, your set list sucks, dude. Look, like they're crossing out so much of my stuff. But I feel like if I don't get away from this, we are gonna go for the longest time. Because now what I want to get into is first of all with Maligned before I move on, pre-save that song. I've listened to it probably 5 times just today to get ready for this. That song is sweet, dude. I listened to it first day it dropped. See, Leon over here not into the metal. I played it for him. He's like, yeah, sounds good. Not into the metal. But it's sweet.
It is pretty nice.
It's a good song. So, like, Jen was telling us, because she always makes a point to come over and talk to us before the shows when we're there. And she was talking to us about that song, and she was like, I feel like she pointed at somebody and said they have vocals on the track, but I don't remember if she was pointing over at the announce table or if she was pointing over at Billy. Who is it there that has vocals on that track? It's Billy. What the vocals did he lay down on that? Like what part, if that makes sense? Because I've been trying to pick
Billy's
it out.
Singing in the choruses.
Okay, dude, the chorus, that's so sweet. Next time I see him, I'm going to have to say something to him about it.
Here's a little behind the scenes about that. Milan started 2 years ago, and I had some school friends of mine that we always played music in high school together, and it was like talent show band, It was like we'd get together and play music. We never did band stuff. And also when I was growing up, once my mom and dad divorced, my stepdad was very anti-music because my dad never worked and just thought he was gonna play somebody else's tunes on the weekend and be famous.
Right.
And so my stepdad was really like, you're not gonna do this. You're gonna learn how to work. You're gonna learn how to be responsible. And so there was always there's just this weird love-hate with music when it comes to my family.
Right.
But a couple years ago, we were all playing D&D together, and we had a D&D chat, and somebody just jokingly said, "We should write a pirate metal song."
Ailstorm
And I was
style.
like, pirate metal. I don't know really know how to do that, but I wrote a song that has not been released yet. It's something I'm working on, but I titled it Skywalkers because when I first started doing all these songs, every song was named a different Star Wars reference. So Battlefront, for example, is a Star Wars reference, and I never thought that would be the name of the song or, be a part of that song, but it is. But I had started writing all this stuff, and then it was like, well, okay, what if we're adults now? Our parents can't tell us no. Like, we'll start doing some stuff. So I wrote Skywalkers first, and then the next thing I wrote was Battlefront. And if I played Skywalkers for you, you'd be like, yeah, this totally sounds like Lamb of God. I play Battlefront for you, and you're like, it sort of sounds like Lamb of God meets Avenged Sevenfold meets every 2006 breakdown. So it was my kind of tribute to early metalcore, the stuff that shaped what I listen to now.
Yeah. Lamb of God.
And so me and my two buddies, Darby and Cody, who are the guys that sing on Battlefront, Darby does the heavy vocals, Cody does the singing. We had a bunch of stuff wrote, and we were working on Well Done, and it was almost well done.
Yeah.
And they got to a point where they both work crazy schedules, so they both work for Logan Aluminum, and their schedules are stupid, and it's a thing, and they're dads, and they've got kids and all that stuff, so I totally get it. And they weren't able to do it, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? Am I just going to sit around on this music that I wanted to release, it's not going to get released, or am I going to find somebody that can do it and finish it? So I let Billy listen to it, and Billy was like, I really want to try singing, I've never done it, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, just learn it. We'll try it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, what's worse
it's not
than
that big of a deal. So Billy learned it. Billy came over here to the studio and sang on it. And so what I did is I had Well Done was pretty much completed. The only thing Darby and Cody had to do was go back in and punch in a word or two in the chorus. It was Cody mostly because Cody sang that day and he was congested and he wasn't happy with the performance. His harmony was great, but when he was singing the main melody, he was just congested, and you could tell.
Yeah.
So it's Billy left and right in the main melody, and then Cody's harmony up the middle. So I kind of took what I had, added Billy on top of it to complete it. So
Well,
I think it turned out very well. It was Billy's first time singing in the studio, and really kind of singing in front of anybody other than Chris, I think. So he was super, super nervous, but
I bet.
everybody that's heard it has been that's amazing. Billy did such a good job. So,
Dude,
such
a great job.
I have a couple of inside industry people that are they're up there. They're not well-known names, but they're up there. People that heard it and they were like, "That's his first time singing. He's really good." So.
Yeah, dude. And I'll tell you what it reminded me of is we were talking about Headbangers Ball earlier. I remember watching there used to be the thing that replaced it, that they were playing the newer style metal, the screamcore and stuff like that, it reminded me of one night sitting up, and I found out who Senses Fail was. I get a little bit of that in there. I started getting feelings of nostalgia, and then be but this is new. This is stuff that's also, I could imagine turning on, I'm Owensboro boy, so 97.1, the rock station there. That's something I would hear on that station. It's such a good track. And
Wait, so are we the same age?
I was born in 92.
Okay, so I was born in 92 as well, so I'm 33.
Yeah, I was born in April. Yeah, it's...
Back in 2011, 2012, 2013, around that era, I played in a local hardcore band from Madisonville called Rookies. Did you ever go to any local shows around Owensboro around that time?
No, I was so in 2011. Let me see, where was I? Because we moved a lot. We switched states. So let me figure. Well, no, in 2011 I was in Owensboro, but I was on drugs. So I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe I had a real big heroin problem in the 2010s.
We played a lot over. Trying to think of what it was called back then when we played there, but today I guess it would be. It's that bar that's right over by the Salvation Army where we wrestle. I think it's called Vanessa's Place now.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
We used to play over there.
Then yes, I definitely went over there a couple nights because I lived. So when you go up the road, up 2nd Street, there's like a neighborhood you could turn off in called Audubon Acres. In 2011, I was living off in there, living at my dad and my stepmom's place, and I would get out all the time, like find reasons to just get the hell out of the house. And one night I just started walking. I was like, screw it. I was like trying to not do drugs, but I was still really doing drugs. And then I started going over there. I probably had seen y'all at some point and just not realized it. Because like I said, there's a lot of things hazy. I was doing wrestling training during that time, and I was trying to think about it the other day and how much I had lost due to drug use, where I was like, man, I could be teaching people how to do stuff. But yeah, that was...
So, yeah, all that being said is the main, music to Well Done, I wrote initially back in 2010, actually, because I was failing out of a semester in college at KWC.
Yeah.
And then started playing music. So that song has always been titled Well Done, but there was an era of when I was playing in my band Rookies that it was completely different.
Yeah.
And so it was one of those things where I had it. It was my song. I wrote it. I want to redo it. My buddy Cody, he wrote those lyrics. Those are super personal lyrics to him, and I felt really weird about putting it out, but at the same time I was like, well, it was gonna go out anyways. And I was like, Cody's still in it, Darby's still in it, all the performances are still in it, it's just got Billy in it now, so I can finish it and put it out.
Dude,
and I wanted to do something with Billy, which then got the ball rolling of I'm working on an EP.
Yeah.
This is inside scoop here. Ooh. I'm working on an EP, a 5-song EP. Battlefront that I've already released is going to be on that EP, but it's like a updated mix. I got 4 other songs that I'm working on, and it's just going to be called Maligned and Friends. I'm just going to get a bunch of my buddies to be on it that can sing or scream that I've played music with over the years, and I've got a couple of other WWA people in the pipeline to work on some stuff too. I'm not going to give that away yet because I think it's going to be a cool surprise. But, yeah, I'm working on an EP. I don't know when it'll be out, but it was 2 years before I put out another song, so maybe I'll pull a Metallica and wait 6 years before I put something out.
Dude, and I can't wait to hear that, especially if Well Done can't, I like it as much as I like that, I can't wait to hear what else. But I am now. I'm gonna pull a Paul Blart and jump up on this segue. I'm going to segue off because you mentioned WWA and having some of those guys on there. I feel like that's the best way to segue over into the wrestling.
I didn't necessarily mean guys though, so there's a little clue for that.
Well, see, I'll have to go through the Rolodex of that roster and try to start piecing things together. I like mysteries. So I'm going to segue over into the wrestling aspect of it because I've gotten to where I like to tell you guys after I get you on here, because we're exclusively only interviewing guys we see in WWA. It's the easiest thing we think we can do. We go to those shows, we see the everybody go out there and do their thing. So I'm going to tell you, the first night that we came out to WWA, we came out to Independence Day this past time. I brought my boys with me. because they had been to a WWE show before, but they had never been to like an indie wrestling promotion. They were off by the stage during the I guess it was the last Monster standing. Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, Seth comes back, big curb stomp.
Yeah.
Like it was for Sammy's birthday. It was on his birthday last year. Raw fell on his birthday. That's the only thing they'd ever done. They had some good seats, but they had never sat front row, ringside. You come out at that show, it was for the 6-way. Was it that 6-way hardcore match?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, so Sammy...
The scramble we did. where it was
Yes.
Yeah, the scrambles.
Like 100 different pinfalls in it.
Yes.
Yes. So I specifically mentioned Sammy in this story because the 8-year-old, he's into wrestling, but not like Sam is. Sam listens to the show and like makes a big deal out of it. He actually asked me the last time we were at a show, Jen had walked away from us, and he said, "Are you ever going to talk to Cortland Moore?" And I said, "Do you like Cortland Moore?" He's like,
I'm
"Yeah."
wondering the same thing. How are you going to get Tyler Santos on this thing before me?
Okay, listen here. Okay, so first thing is
This was Leon that did this, huh?
no, but however, in your defense, no, the Tyler Santos before Cortland Moore was all Casey. I cannot take any credit for that.
Listen. I didn't know what I now know. All right? I didn't know. I didn't
Casey,
know.
let me let you in on a little secret.
It has everything to do with Max.
People text differently than they talk.
Obviously. I know that now. I don't, because I use speech to text. So my text messages sound like me because they use the phrases that I use.
Do you know how much vindication I got at the last Saturday show with Dash and Munchie teaming up on Tyler Santos?
felt
I
good
felt
about
so
that?
vindicated.
I knew I was going to catch shit about this Santos thing. I was in the shower today being like, I wonder how much shit I'm going to get over Santos today. But no, so Sammy asked me, I said, "Do you like him?" And he goes, "Okay, so at Independence Day," he goes, "when he come out with a toolbox, he's like, all I could do is think about what was in that toolbox."
Mm-hmm. Which we're going to get into that in a second.
He's like, all I could do was think about what was in there. He's like, so he goes, "I wanted you to get him on there so you could ask him what was in the toolbox." But then he opened it and we found out before you could get him on the show. And I was like, "What did you think was in there?" He was like, "A spider." So I was like, okay. I was like, why is homie packing a spider around? He's
Right.
like, "I don't know." He's like, "But he was creepy at the first show, so spider, it adds up." And I was like, "All right, I like your logic."
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept with it. But we saw that match, and then like
It was so good.
everything you'd done up until that point was great. Like that, the character that you play when you come out there. I'm very interested in stuff like that. Like how easy is it to take that on and off? Like, you just flip a switch and it goes away, or do you have to like get ready for something
Like Randy,
that?
do you have to get
Yeah, do you
yourself
have to get
hyped
yourself
up?
there?
I'm going to be quite honest with you, and this may be my one swear word for the podcast.
Let's do it.
because I'm trying to be. I was instructed by my beautiful wife to be nice.
Hi, Jen. We
Yeah,
hear
see,
you in the background.
You can say damn. You can say dams and shits. Leon just doesn't like F words.
Casey's already used his for the year.
No, look, so I don't know why I'm like, for some reason people tell me I'm good at it, but I just like talking shit. And the wilder I can be with it, like, the more fun. But this last go around, like, I don't know, it was actually like a really weird headspace to be in. And I don't really. It's kind of really hard to explain.
Do you think it was a weird headspace because Michael Caden came back, or do you think that affected it in a way? Because when we first saw you, Michael was still out,
Yeah, I guess so.
and so he was still out, and he came back in Owensboro at the Salvation Army. Michael Caden came back in Owensboro.
Yeah.
So do you think maybe that's what did it?
No, it's a really weird headspace to be in when you like. You look at like Michael Caden was my best friend.
Right.
Like I'll be completely honest with you. He's my best friend.
Yeah.
And for a shoot, legitimately, I almost killed him.
Yeah.
There's no there's no wrestling. That's not part of a storyline. I almost did kill him.
Yeah.
And that's a really weird headspace to be in when you realize that you were, a couple inches away from going to jail for murder. And so it's really this whole past year has been a really weird headspace overall because my body has just been beat up, which is why I took all the time off before I came back. And so that version of Cortland Moore, probably the most insane, but not an insane of over the top like a Victor Harlow, where you're like, this dude's out of his freaking mind.
I love that guy.
The calm out of your mind to me is the one you worry about.
Yeah,
the silent ones. It was a really weird
ones.
Headspace to be in, doing all that. So I don't know. I think it led to some interesting television. We don't have television, but
True.
Some interesting promos, and it kept me on my toes of what I had to do and things like that. So I hope it was entertaining for people, but it was a very uncomfortable situation to be in.
Right.
Well, and that's what got us is we were like, what's in it? Because we, like I said, we started going in about middle of the year, July 5th. First show that Leon and I had been to together. I went to the Logan Legit tribute show a long time ago with a friend, and that was my first show. And I didn't really go much after that because dad stuff. And then I get up here and I find somebody likes pro wrestling as much as me, and we made a point to go. But the whole time we were like, okay, carry down the toolbox, got the scissors. What does all this mean? So most of our entertainment came from just trying to figure out, piece together,
why a toolbox?
What it all means. What does all this mean? And then in Owensboro we get our answer, and the payoff was like, oh wow. So then when we go and we see the dog collar match, that was like a whole.
It was awesome.
It was a whole other level. So by the time that had come around. Well, then we knew where to look. We knew where to start with our research here. Okay, so we need to know there's more to this story. This happened because of this. They were a tag team. Okay, now we need to find all the tag team stuff. So we started doing all that, and we started looking in. And now it became one of the most entertaining things to me on the show, storyline-wise, because there's not a lot. That's what I like about what Chris does there is there's not too much going on, if that makes sense. I don't have... Sometimes dudes are just out there wrestling because dudes got to wrestle, or chicks got to wrestle, whatever. Sometimes that's just what it is, and then there's the things I need to zero in on, and he does a really good job of. And
see if you've noticed,
or the team does.
Maybe it's just me, but whatever.
I'm sorry, I love you.
But if you've noticed, it's almost like every other week they focus on a different storyline. You had Jet Mosley jumping Bo Sawyer. So you had that. Then the next week, they kind of touched on it. Next week, it was Bo Sawyer and Jet Mosley. They're going at it. So it's like they've got all these storylines lined up, but they play it out where you're not like, oh, well, I got to focus on this, and now I got to focus on this. It's, hey, let's do this, but now we're going to get you here so that when we get to the next point, it's like, wow, look at that. You know what I mean? So it keeps you entertained. You're not like, ugh. Oh, Bloodline storyline. Where's this going at? 4 years.
And then to top it off, but this storyline, we got to get into it just a little bit more because Leon and I both have the fortune of having significant others in the medical field. So as soon as we go home, we're like, okay, so
this happened today.
And I was like, what's going on here? And she was like, that's really rough. And the fact that he's walking around is cool. And I was like, so this is like a big deal. And she goes, yeah. And I was like, oh. Okay, and I start making my notes. I'm like, well, as soon as we talk to both of them, I'm going to let them know how much that this has taken up of my time, how much of my time this has taken up, just trying to find out. It was such an entertaining story, and I like the payoff. You coming out, I like your music you come out to
it's
normally.
Pretty nice.
I really dig it, and then I hear a different music hit, and I hadn't seen the Trend Killers together, and you come out in the Trend Killers gear.
Oh, it was diabolical.
It was perfect storytelling. That whole thing was great. I just wish we just ain't seen you since. That's the only thing that makes me sad. I got 4 guys I go to see, and you're one of them for sure.
I think that when I look back at that match, that dog collar match specifically, most of the time dog collar matches are ultra violent.
Yes.
And we've had dog collar matches and people are like bleeding and all this crazy stuff, and we didn't do that.
No.
And that was a really weird position to be in because it was uncomfortable, and I think it was uncomfortable for everybody. Because people seen the video of me cutting his beard, which got his neck and caused that, and there were dangerous stakes going in. I came back from a pretty severe pair of shoulder injuries.
Ooh.
And he had came back from this major issue with his neck, and he was intubated and all that crap. So I think some people would look at it and go, I think a Jim Cornette would look at it and go, the crowd didn't give a fuck. Oops, sorry.
Nope, we'll bleep it. You're good. Everybody gets one.
But he wasn't there. He doesn't know. He would only see that in a vacuum and be like, that crowd didn't care. But everybody cared, but it was so uncomfortable that people didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Or what was going to happen. And to me, when it's uncomfortable and you don't know what's going on, and it actually ends up leaving you with more questions than answers, I think that's compelling, and I like doing stuff like that because I don't think a story always has to end with the good guy or the bad guy winning. Who knows what's going to happen next, and then you just leave it a little bit of a mystery, and I think that makes it intriguing for people. So you kind of you get to fantasy book what you want to happen. Now people can finish that story in their head and go, well, Cortland taps out, Michael Caden wins, cool. Or Cortland tapped out to save himself because he's going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool for people to kind of write their own ending to that story if they want to.
And I would love to tell you what I drew from that because I've been wanting to share this with somebody and I've been letting it cook. What I drew from that match was not that yes, you tapped out. I focused on that. My biggest thing I caught was as you're on your way out, you give him the little, all right. And then I saw that and I immediately started going well, they're probably going to get back together eventually. I think it's inevitable. That's what I drew from it. I drew from we hated each other. Now we went to war, which was really good, by the way. I don't think dog collar matches always require the ultra violence. I changed my opinion on that after Brody Lee had passed away because that was his last match. And it was widely believed that contributed to being his last match. And I was just these matches could tone down a little bit. We don't have to, I think Hammer broke his neck. Ray Valentine broke his neck having one, or Roddy did. One of the two broke their neck in that match just because of the move. There's a safe way to pull this off. We don't need blood and gore for every payoff. A little blood's nice. Then there's no color. But it was just that we're going to war. We're going to beat the hell out of each other. And then at the end of it, it was that little show. And both of you did it. Because when you're all right, he gives it back to you. So, I drew from the end of the match is that nobody won. Two people survived, and maybe they can come back together.
Yeah.
But I usually look at it through, rose-colored glasses and want to see, I like the Seth Rogen storylines, man. They were friends, and now they're not friends, and now they're friends again.
Now, let me ask you a question because we've gotten some behind-the-curtain stuff. Were you there in Owensboro when he came back?
I had already, prior to that, he had already came back. So, prior to that, he returned in Litchfield.
I got you.
Yeah, he came back in Litchfield. He talked.
That's right. So, during the talk that he was there, because I assume you were there when he was, let everybody know what happened. How was it? Because we're big on feelings here on this show. We like getting personal with people, understanding different stories and stuff.
Is the story getting better? I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I said feelings, and then that thing inside of me that I try to work out in therapy came out.
Was there... what kind of emotions were going on when you were he's back with us, he's going to be okay, when he was showing, because he got very emotional when he showed everybody that video. How was it for you backstage?
Oh, man. This is a tough one to answer.
And I mean, if you don't want to answer it, that's fine. I mean, it's totally up to you.
No, I mean, I think it's a compelling question, right? Because it's like, I could give you the Cortland Moore, like, jerk answer, or I could give you, like, the JC Moore, like,
Or we could do both.
real answer. But I can tell you that from both perspectives, it was uncomfortable.
Right.
I don't feel like... The only way I feel like it would be awesome to take someone's life is if you were Garth Brooks, right?
Oh.
Because all of his... And that's a reference. That's a YMH reference.
Yeah,
so
we
he's
get
gonna
it.
get that.
Yeah, Leon doesn't know this yet, but we're going to talk about it.
It's an uncomfortable situation regardless, I think. And I think that regardless of how much you hate somebody,
Right.
that an accident like that, and I will say that, yes, it was an accident. That wasn't what I was trying to do. Is an unfortunate situation, and you feel about an inch tall. And then you have to go back through a curtain to a locker room full of your peers.
Right.
And they have to look at you, and you have to look at them, and you have to know that now nobody else in that building trusts you.
Right.
So it's uncomfortable. But I thought, for the sake of the WWA as a whole, that was one of the better promos all year.
Yeah.
Because it's real life, right?
Yeah.
He talked about his kid. He talked about his family and what they thought about it and things like that. When you tap into that real stuff, like, it's stuff you can't beat. It's like,
No.
I like that stuff. But it was an uncomfortable situation, and it was an uncomfortable situation for the locker room to watch it too. It was emotional, but it was also like people were like really uncomfortable because it's like you didn't expect that to happen.
No.
But then you lean into it, which is fun.
Yeah, that's...
I love Michael Caden. I think he's great.
It's what I really enjoyed about that is that we were able to sit there and watch a little bit. See, I'm also kind of a purist. I like to lose myself in the show, but also I do enjoy it sometimes when we start to dip into real life things and getting to see professional wrestlers as what they are at their core, which is humans. And you get to see the human side of things. And it was just a really enjoyable little deal, but and then I do want to tell you though, to break up the sincerity we have right now, because I just looked at the note and you did the Garth Brooks thing and this guy's completely blind, and I just wrote down Garth Brooks is a killer _ I did an underline and put legit. But yeah, no, like
Connect the dots.
yes. Oh dude, so yeah, but I'm just gonna briefly, so the people can understand it. If you Google certain disappearances within a certain amount of time, they line up with Garth Brooks tour dates. Every time he's in a city, somebody goes missing or is murdered. So just...
Where are the bodies, G?
Yep.
Where are the bodies, G? Like, yeah, Garth Brooks's forums just say things like this. They say that, like, touch my camera through the fence, and like, has nothing to do with Garth Brooks, and he's aware of it. He's aware of what's going on. And
I'm pretty sure I'm shadow banned on Garth's Instagram too.
oh, and I'm fully banned, definitely on his Instagram, because I can't find him at all anymore. I'm only blocked on social media by 3, I guess, quote unquote celebrities.
Ryback.
And Ryback. Now that Garth Brooks is one of them, I'm super happy about it. I don't want to say who the third one is, because the more I tell the story,
Well, let's
the
see.
more I
You got
look like the
Alundra
bad
Blaze,
guy.
right?
That's the
Alundra
one I didn't want to say.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, Alundra Blaze. Yeah, me and
You
Alundra
said
Blaze.
you did a little digging into like Trend Killers past. Is there anything like through that tag team run that you found like interesting or cool? Like, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't talk to a lot of people outside of, like my core of people where I hear them say like, hey, we liked your stuff. You know, it's cool to be a part of the WWA, but also at the same time, you get like man, Chris or Ray is really good, or Alexander Knight, or you get these, you know, you get those conversations, and those guys totally deserve all the praise. Like, they're all killer. Like, Ray is, I think, when you just look wrestling-wise, the best wrestler we have on the roster. When you look at a gimmick, Chris is the best, like, character we have on a show. Then you look at a guy like Alexander Knight, and he's both of those things. Like, those three guys, and, like, Dakota and Lucas, like, the backyard guys, like, we don't have a company if it's not for them.
Right.
I'm the only 2012 guy, and then it from there shoots up to like 2016 or something like that, and that's when you start getting Vanderpool, and then like now you get on into like the newer guys. So I'm in a weird position where like once Josiah left, like I was the only 2012 guy, but I didn't actually start wrestling until 2018.
Yeah,
Because you were a manager.
Like 6 years.
Yeah. See, now to answer that question, I can answer it in the simplest way there is. The thing I liked about what I was watching out of the Trend Killers is that I like uniqueness. Generally, my favorite wrestlers or my favorite like tag teams are not everybody else's favorites. I look for who's different, who stands out. I'm talking about who looks like the athlete of the day, who looks like who stands out, who's got something. And it's just the fact that the both of you looked so different and were so different than everybody else around is what got me. Is I'm like, okay, these two are not like,
Hence the name.
These two are not anywhere near anything like that. But that's another thing with WWA is I feel like that's a constant, which is why I do like so many people things right there. But I like uniqueness, and I also just have a thing for dudes that look like me doing what I used to like to do, and that's beat people up. You know? Like that's my deal. So I was just attracted to, really all of it. I know that's such a cheap answer. But I don't know how to give compliments without being just the cheapest way possible. But that's
I take all cheap compliments around here. Compliments spin the same to me, buddy.
Yeah, it's just that's and
that, pay me in exposure bucks.
So you mentioned earlier we were talking about as we were talking about our YMH stuff. This podcast that you guys are doing. Is it only available on Patreon? Is that how to listen to that show?
Yeah, it's only available through the Patreon. Initially, the whole podcast thing actually started. Oh gosh, probably 2016, somewhere around that era. It started with the original iteration of the Waddell Show podcast.
Right. Which
was just Chris and Ray. I wasn't on it. They would bring in guests every now and then, but it was just those two. And it was very NSFW.
Yeah.
Bad. And we're kind of glad that that's been scrubbed from the internet. And then it started back around 2020 when everything shut down, where it was like, well, we're not wrestling. We need something to do. And it was, I think Ray's idea was like, hey, what if we bring the podcast back? So we started doing Waddell Show podcast again. And then we did that for almost a year. And then they were like, okay, we're kind of bored of doing this. We're not going to do it. But then once we started the Patreon, they were like, well, we need something that's like a steady thing, like every week. Well, it's like, well, we can start doing the podcast again. So it started, it was the Waddell Show podcast, again, like the third round of it. And we did that for quite some time. And then Ray decided he wanted to start a podcast with Dakota. And so we had Munchie on there. And so Chris was the one that just came up with the name. We had Munchie on several Waddell Show podcast episodes before we changed the name. And then Chris just one day during the podcast said, this is the Three Company Killers. And that came from... 3 was 3CB for 3 Count Boys for Munchie.
Yep.
Company from it was Chris's tag team with Jordan, Bad Company, and Killers is String Killers. So it was just kind of a mashup of the 3 tag teams, and it's been a roller coaster of like
Munchie's my boy.
laughs and tears and like just crazy stuff, like people having edibles for the first time. Like me and there's an episode where there's about 25 minutes of it cut out because me and Chris got into a legitimate argument, and it had to be cut out. That almost derailed the podcast. There's been, talking about all the year-end awards and all the stuff to the thing. There's an episode on there that like talks about where I almost died in a semi-truck related accident. So it's one of those podcasts where it's like, what do y'all just talk about? Like wrestling and like fart jokes? Like, yeah, but we also talk about real stuff too.
That's what I like
to
to
A lot of politics, a lot of AI.
So little insight on this one over here. So this podcast, it started like the Waddell podcast did. That's why I think I gravitate so much towards those 2 guys. Is like Chris is exactly like my brother in almost every single way. Like listening, having a conversation with Chris is exactly what Thanksgiving is like at my mother's house. It's exactly that way every single time. And then Ray and I are very similar in just being like, we're here, like we're here and these are our brothers. And that's just what it is. So like, me and my brother started doing a podcast together. We were watching Dark Side of the Ring and Jim Cornette, who I'm a huge Jim Cornette guy, even though people look at me weird when I say it, and I don't know why. But I'm a huge Jim Cornette guy, and he said something to the effect of like how much of a shame it was that we only get to tell stories like this when somebody does something awful. Why isn't there like a light side of the ring? And it was during COVID, and my dad had just passed, which we weren't close, but it's still weird. And then like I just needed something to busy my brain. So he's like, let's do this thing. And then we would have to scrub entire episodes from existence because he would say something silly like, I just don't think Karrion Kross has the it factor. And then I'm screaming at him that he doesn't know shit about shit. I'm like, you don't know nothing about wrestling. I was like, you let your favorite wrestler, Shawn Michaels, the most cookie cutter answer someone could, and we're yelling, I'm burying wrestlers left and right that he likes. Being like, Triple H sucks. Like, it's so bad that we would have to get rid of it.
That's mild compared to stuff I've had to cut out of our podcast.
Oh, I'm censoring a lot of some of the other stuff. There was also a lot of like
fights ensued.
Yeah, there has been fist fights started off
on the podcast.
And like me and my brother also will call each other just the worst names possible just to have fun with each other. Like he's trained my nephew to put my name in his phone as Uncle Fat Fat, and like it's hurtful. And I want to let my nephew know that it's hurtful, but he thinks it's funny. And he doesn't think it hurts my feelings, so we're just gonna. He didn't listen to this show, so it's
Uncle
fine.
Fat.
But like me and my brother will call. Like there's him calling me so many slurs, it's not funny. Like just anything he can come up with that's not super offensive. And then we get done with the episode, and I'd be like, "Did you call me the F slur like 5 times in a row just now?" And he was like, "Shit, I did." Damn it. And then he'd go delete the episode and he'd be like, we got to do another one. And then 10 minutes into it and he's like, gay. And then he's like, damn it. And he has to cut it off. He has to cut it off.
There was a whole era of Three Company Killers podcast where I just told like really terrible jokes. And I haven't gotten back to it, but it's like, that was one of my favorite things because it's like, I love jokes that don't make any sense. Right?
Yes.
So out there that you're like, what in the world?
I am oblivious.
Like jokes that are like, Chris would be like, really?
Yep.
Like that's your joke. So that was always like my thing for the podcast. Like I would always be like, I'm almost like the Jamie of the Joe Rogan Experience. A lot of times I'm looking stuff up if Chris is talking about something. A lot of the times Juan's just on his phone texting his girlfriend. I usually just try to say stuff that derails the podcast because a lot of times, like, I have my own political opinions, but I just don't get into it because it's not one of those things I'm comfortable talking about. I don't want to, treat me right, I'll treat you right. I don't really kind of care where you stand.
Yeah.
unless you're just completely ridiculous. And so I just try to derail away from anything that I can to just like lighten it up, because it's like release on a Wednesday and there's a bunch of stupid stuff going on. We don't want to hear about the stupid stuff that's going on. I'm that guy that's like, I want to hear like fart jokes and stupid stuff and making people watch terribly disgusting videos.
So I am known in our store for telling really bad dad jokes.
That's not. You're telling half truths here right now, but I'll let you keep
Look,
going.
I tell awful jokes. Like I remember I walked into the meat department one day and I was like, hey, guess what? And they were like, what? And I took an empty box and I threw it on the ground and I put my foot in and I said, shoebox. And they told me to get out. and let's see, what was another one I did? Let's see. I said, what do you call it when your mom's new husband has to go take a dump? And they said, what? And I said, step stool. Like, it's stupid jokes like that makes no sense that I fall in love with because they're hilarious.
You, sir.
You know what my favorite joke of all time is?
I would love to hear this. Anything's better than what he just said. Anything he just said.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Look,
Why does a chicken coop only have 2 doors?
I don't know.
Because if it had 4, it would be a chicken sedan.
that's true.
No, that's actually pretty good. Like that's
true.
I could do some thinking on that. I'm not slapping my knee right now, but it's a good one. It's better. It's better than shoebox. This guy's also telling half truths. He doesn't just tell bad dad jokes. He also fancies himself now a backyard wrestler because he's training. His goal is to make it to the next set of WWE tryouts and pass on his first try.
I'm not going to pass on my first try.
We've begun shooting a documentary about it. We haven't been shy about letting people know that, so plug it again here. I've already got about, 26 minutes of footage, give or take, that I'll cut down to 5 minutes. But he also, when he's doing the backyard wrestling stuff in my backyard, which my girlfriend roasts him for and then cheers him on from the living room, but he'll cut promos that, like, to him, he's like, this is the toughest thing anybody's ever said to anybody ever.
Not true.
Like, I know that's what he's thinking.
Not true.
He's like, this is a good one. And then it comes out of his mouth, and, like, anybody who knows Leon personally knows that he's just, there's a sound is the only thing I can describe him with, is when I try to, I say, Leon's kind of good, and that's the only way I can explain him. And I was like,
I could be serious if I need to.
So at work, these guys watch his videos. Some of his videos have got like 700-800 views on them. Like, it's impressive.
The first wrestling match we did on the trampoline has 800 views.
Yes, men in their 20s wrestling on a trampoline. It was awesome. It was great. I loved it. We're getting a real ring. But so he's talking to one of the guys, and one of the guys is his nickname is like Timberwolf. It's something that's not great. It's not good. It's good for backyard wrestling.
It fits his look, though, because he looks like it.
And so all Leon thinks is wolf, dog. That's a dog. So when they go to lock up with each other, and he's like, yeah, see, the fleas jumped off you. And I paused the camera and I said, what the shit did you just say? I said, what did you just say?
No, you got that wrong. We locked up. I got him and I put him in a wrist lock. I smacked the back of his hair because he has long hair, and I said, "Oh, my bad. The fleas just jumped off of you."
That doesn't make it any better.
It doesn't.
So
but if you're gonna tell a bad story, tell it correctly.
All you did was give yourself fleas.
Yes. That's true.
Yes, because both of them have animal-based gimmicks, and I tried to explain that to him.
Whatever.
I was like, you both have animal-based
Mine makes sense.
gimmicks.
Kind of.
A little bit, but they both have it. And I was like, this is the problem here. And then my son was like, well, I want to wrestle. And they were like, cool. And Sammy has a Blue Panther mask, and he's like, I'm going to wear this one. I was like, is this zoo wrestling? Are we doing...
What is this, the FWA, the Furry Wrestling Alliance?
Yes, that's exactly what's
going on.
I don't wear
a tail, nor do I dress like an animal.
No, but Sammy dresses like an animal. He dresses like a panther, and for a little while he was going meow. And
Micro Tiger meow, which has copyrighted.
He was making like cat noises, and everything was like, well, this is called the jungle knee. And I was like, don't call that. My youngest son is, the youngest son's the baby. My 8-year-old is the only one who got in there and was like, I'm just going to RKO bitches. He's like, I'm just going to get in there and I'm going to throw cutters all around. around.
I'm gonna do freaking, well, what's that movie we've got him perfecting now?
He's doing the
the
sliced
Skywalker.
bread. Yeah, he's doing the sliced bread. Yeah, an 8-year-old
sliced bread,
cutting
and
the
he
sliced
does pretty
bread.
good.
I'm raising him right, which also will
You're
bring
also
me-
teaching
Now-
your 18-month-old to push down children and hit them with the world's strongest splash in
Yo, dude, he's
daycare.
frog splashing kids, dude. It's awesome. And my response was, well, those kids need to quit being so soft.
That's true.
Like,
Soft.
hit him with a stunner. Like, kill it. But so, which will bring me to this. Leon loves to talk about this. So I'm teaching my kids how to do their finishes. And I was trying to teach one of them how to do yours.
Oh, I was gonna ask you about that.
And for the life of me, I can't figure out how you do it. I keep trying to do it. Yeah, and it doesn't look. Every time I try to do it
looks
to one
so
of them,
good.
I do it to one of them. I'm like, that's what you try that. And I cannot figure out how you do it.
It's like an angle into like a spin out something other.
Yeah, every time we
So
try to describe
what
it.
is your finish
Yes, what is it?
and
'Cause I can't-
how are you doing it?
I can't describe it. Every time I try to, I was like, it's awesome.
It's so
this.
pretty.
I was like, I love it. It's this and it's this. And then they're like, what?
I call it the last riff,
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
which is a Beartooth song, which is where I got the name.
Yeah, bear.
It's
sweet
actually
reference.
it's actually a move called the Arrival that Anthony Bowens does. So you hook the guy like a rock bottom.
Okay.
Then as you pick them up, you swing their feet out to your left, and then it's almost like World's Strongest Slam from there.
Well, he does like a roll into it, doesn't he? Doesn't he like roll them? I feel like the way you do it and the way I've seen him do, I didn't think they were the same move. But I guess they are now that I'm rolling it back on my head. It's sweet, and I just can't figure it out.
So in a way, it's like doing kind of, sort of, not exact, but it's almost like doing a gunslinger in reverse. You start in the Uranagi, you swing them up, and then you slam them instead of starting, swing them, and slam.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, sort of.
I'm gonna go.
So it's almost like a reverse. It looks good. Like that's our biggest thing is like finishes, and you did yours, and Casey was like, "What's that move called?" I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "How did he do it?" I said, "I don't know."
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
did it on Bo Sawyer, big ass once.
"You did it on Bo Sawyer."
Yeah.
Okay, so funny story. So
Lord,
Bo
here we
Sawyer's
go.
a monster. Okay, so he's a monster. He at one time,
He's so excited about Bo.
biggest dude on the roster, whatever. so Saturday, because Alpha Akana's now there, which I think he's the biggest dude now.
That's a huge bitch.
So Snyder himself is a big dude. You got Bo. He's probably one of the strongest ones. And then you've got Alpha Akana and Snyder. And we were sitting front row. And like 3 different times, Snyder's in the ring, Alpha's outside, and he turns and he's like, "That's a big mother." And he's like, you just sitting there and like he walks by, he's like, "That's a big dude." And I'm like,
I hit
fella.
a Death Valley driver through a ladder on Chris Snyder once.
Dude, that's awesome.
Snyder's-
That's awesome. Snyder is something else. I
You
love his
can actually,
style.
If you want to see that, if you go back to 2023's Halloween Hell, it was Tree Killers, 3CB, and Golden Gods opened that show in a triple threat ladder match for a #1 contender contract for the tag team titles.
That's crazy.
Dude.
There's something about like your style that's different than everybody else's, but then there's also
I have no style,
Snyder.
That's what's
Yeah, yours is different. Like your style is none.
See,
And then you got Snyder's, who's like, "I'm big and tall, and I'm so strong. Ooh, watch this!" And he like lines you up, and then it's like a back
Snyder
elbow.
Snyder to me works like if you took Diesel and Rick Rude,
Yep.
put them together.
Yep.
See, I see a lot of Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn and Snyder. Yeah.
I see a lot of Billy Gunn. It's like if Billy Gunn knew how to talk. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Snyder does know how to
That's
talk.
how I
He's
see it.
great.
Now I'll tell you, like, Sammy loves Golden Gods so much. It's so funny. Whenever it was the Owensboro show, and
Who'd they ever beat?
Bo wasn't there.
No,
or something.
Marauder called him and said that the show was in Bowling Green.
Yeah. Bo wasn't there, And as Snyder comes out, everybody's booing him. And when you're watching the video, like playing back his entrance, you can just see my kid is the only person in the crowd being like, oh, he's doing the dance with him. And he's like, he took my glasses from me. He's like, I need the Snyder glasses. I'm like, that's not why I have these. I like aviators. And he takes them and puts them on and he starts doing the dance. Every time they come out, he's the only person in the building who's like, yes, and doing their shtick with him. And the
whole time me and Cade were tagging, we wrestled with them a couple different times, but we never like ran any angles or anything. About the closest thing to an angle we ran with them was when we first started going to the Litchfield to Grayson County High School. I think like the first 3 shows we did at the high school, we wrestled Golden Gods every single show there. And I think we ended up like, I don't even remember. I think we won one. We won the first one. They won the second one, and then it was like, I don't know, something stupid happened on the third, whatever. But like, other than that, the only real like angle kind of stuff we did with them was that going into that summer of 23, you had Ray Waddell, Alexander Knight of High Society holding the tag team titles, and we were all chasing them. So Trin Killers, 3CB, Golden Gods, they're all chasing, and that's how we ended up getting into the triple threat at Halloween Hell, which is one of the few times I've also got to interact with Chris on a show. And I hate because not all that footage is out there, but there was a really good triple threat that me, MK, and Bo did in Central City that opened the show, where they like split up all the tag teams and we did 2 different triple threats, and like, those guys are like in ring one of my favorite tag teams to watch. Like even like when I'm wrestling them, I want to go back to watch our matches just so I can watch them.
They're so good.
They're incredible.
The way that Snyder presents himself, he's like, walking tall and stuff. He's so cocky. Like, he's like, yeah, look at me. I'm the big, tall, like, he doesn't have like the most masculine, like muscular physique, but it's the way he plays it off, like doing the big like firepower pose. It's
he's bigger
beautiful.
than you are, String Bean.
Hey, and he looks better than you, and he's almost twice your age. So shut your mouth.
It's not hard to look jacked when you're standing next to Bo Brady.
That's
also true.
Facts. And by the way, Snyder's
Actually,
not twice my age. He's 10 years older.
If
Whatever.
you look at Bo Brady, he's real skinny, but he's actually jacked, and he's
Yeah.
actually
He
pretty
is,
strong.
and he is
Really
pretty strong. Yeah.
I noticed that,
Like when he body slammed Alexander Knight, he was like, body slam, and it just popped out my mouth. I was like, yeah, right, and then he just throws him over. I'm like, okay.
yeah, it's like
If you ever get Bo Brady on this podcast, you need to ask him about the night that the Golden Gods wrestled me and MK Swift in a tag team match, and ask him who body slams him harder, me or MK Swift.
I've been trying to get both of them so hard, but like
That would be so
they
fun.
want to do it together, and I want to do it with them together. But
We'd have to do it video call.
Our schedules keep doing this thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm so upset about it because the last time we talked to Chris for the show, we did like his part 2. I think we were supposed to do Golden Gods, and I was like, okay, awesome. And he asked us, who do you have on next? And we were like, the Golden Gods. He goes, all right, well, it's been good talking to you guys. Trying to get off the phone with us.
Oh, he got so offended because we were like, it was one of our first episodes, and we were going down the list of people we wanted to talk to, and it wasn't 45 seconds into Chris Waddell's first episode, and he said, well, I heard about your all's list you got, but I didn't hear my name on there, and I was like, it's all Casey's fault. But no,
was.
Well, yeah.
He's hilarious. I love that guy.
We need to make the Golden Gods happen.
I would love to talk to. I'd love to talk to him just because I like when Bo screams. It makes me giggle.
Yes,
I'm going to tell you right now, we had them on a 3 Company Killers episode once, and it was off the rails the entire time. You will never get anything out. Any questions that you have that you want to ask them about, you'll never get to.
You can see that.
Well, see, I've learned that is I kind of start gauging you guys now at the beginning of the podcast, because I've had dudes that like I've kept them on, like Dash. I could keep Dash on track. I say I need these questions, and then we can eventually get off the rails. But then, like
Santos.
we talked to Santos, and that went immediately off track, and we had to direct that. And then you get,
You know,
and then we get Munchie, and that became we were talking about video games
Yep.
for 45.
You know, we
minutes.
never did figure out what Tyler Santos's dog was trying to say to us. Can you believe that?
I don't know. I don't know what you're, dude. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
That's because you've hit that pin too many times.
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. But now, like,
I'm pretty good at keeping on track, but it's also like I try to purposely derail my own podcast, but it's like
yes,
I get it, and also I edit our podcast, so that's what I was doing when we got on this, when we started this episode. So it's like I also understand like you got a time frame you kind of want to hit. And a lot of the times Chris was like, we're going to shoot for about an hour. And then you have a guy on like Q from Southside Wrecking Crew and you go 3 hours. So it's like, it is what it is.
Oh, see, we have Q coming up pretty soon.
Right after Halloween Hell.
Yeah, the episode. We record on every Tuesdays now because of the way that my work schedule goes with these 3 jobs I do. Like, so that's
what a seductive name.
Dude, I love it so much. Like, I just keep finding myself saying it over and over again. Just bringing it up in conversation with my old lady because she's going, and like I'm making her go, and
Halloween Hell.
And I go, hey honey, so when we go to Halloween Hell, and then she's like, oh my god, what? And I'm like, so when we go to Halloween Hell, like I need you to like stay off your phone because this is like an important show, and I know you have focus issues, but I'm gonna lock your phone. Like, she's all in that cell phone, and then I go, hey, and she's like, oh, what? And I'm like, wrestling's going on, and she's like, I forgot where we were for a minute, I'm sorry. And,
Did you get tickets already?
yeah, we hit
second or third row?
Say what?
Front, second, or third row?
Oh,
Nah, we don't know yet. Is it second?
It's second. I have never ever been able to secure front row for anything in Litchfield.
We've been to one front row seat in Litchfield.
One?
Litchfield always goes quick.
Oh no, one.
Danny's got that on lock.
Yeah, we got. Oh, dude, that guy. So yeah, we did get one.
Mm-hmm.
We did get one out of Danny where we got front row out of it. But it was like like he hit us up the day he was doing it.
Because we sat by the ramp.
That dude is another animal. Like,
he is, yeah.
And the fact that everybody in here knows him.
Are y'all making every show, or y'all just
We're
coming to
trying.
certain ones, or what y'all doing?
Okay,
We're trying to hit every.
So, like, generally the goal is to hit all of them. Then the Nebo show happened.
We didn't go to Nebo.
We couldn't make that happen. We tried so hard. Work was being jerks to us
and
more
we can't
than
do
usual.
this Saturday.
And then, like, so we couldn't go to that one. We broke up a show. Then I think one, I had to close the store and couldn't go, or something stupid had happened. But the goal is to hit everything. Like Owensboro, we don't get to go to because our buddy's getting married. And as a wedding gift to him, instead of him making him pay somebody, we're going to sit up and do all the DJ and the MCing for his reception. So I got to get up there and put on radio voice. I'm like, hey, everybody, go dance with the bride.
I did sound and DJ'd Ray and Kendra's wedding.
It's super
Yeah,
fun.
Alexander Knight's wedding. Dakota, when he had gotten married, he's in a new relationship now. Tyler Hawkins did his. Alexander Knight did mine.
Nice.
So we all just kind of just keep it all in the circle.
Well, and that's what I love about the WWA is the family atmosphere. It's wonderful.
You can definitely tell that, like, y'all got a pretty good locker room in there, and everybody seems like everybody for the most part.
Dude, I'll tell you what the coolest thing about the WWA, like, nowadays to me is, like, when I joined in 2012, like, I, like, kind of started with, like, the audio stuff, but it was pretty much kind of like, hey, make this work and leave it be. Like, Chris was very much hands-on with, like, it's his company, he wants to be in control, I totally get it. Like, and for the longest time, that's the way it was, and, like, nowadays, you've got Alexander Knight and Jet Mosley are like the fix-it guys. If something breaks, they fix it, or if we need something built, they figure it out, they do it.
Right.
I program the lights. I do a lot of the audio stuff. Drake does some audio stuff with me, but Drake does all the video stuff. If you want to see the quality of video that I can do, you can watch. There was a Livermore show we did where Stonewall was under a mask as El Jabron. That was me. I did that video. So I have limited video experience, but I do a lot of the like pre-tape stuff, and then I'm a lot of the production side of things. And it's gotten to a point now where like the proof is in the pudding of like us all knowing what we're doing. That Chris just kind of says, "Hey, this is what I want done. I want it done like this. Take that, run with it." So at the beginning of this, was it this year? Yeah, beginning of this year, doing the entranceway like in the current version we're using, which is the one we were using at the end of 2019 going into 2020. He turned me loose. I had to learn how to automate moving headlights. I spent a week with a couple of the lights in my studio, just blinding myself, programming lights.
Yeah.
We've released, 3 albums and a single for the entrance themes. You can search those up on any streaming service you get at World Wrestling Alliance, and they are Through the Curtains, Volume 1, 2, and 3. And you can find the single for the World Class Wrecking Crew. Shameless plug.
Yeah,
But,
get those plugs in.
Yeah, get 'em in there, buddy.
It's really, really cool because now I don't just feel like a person that is just there to wrestle. Like, I feel like a part of the, as much as I am like one of the boys, I also feel part of the office.
Right.
And that's pretty cool to have some responsibility. And I know that like, if somebody needs something like that and they go to Chris knows he can trust, like, go to JC will figure it out. Or go to Alexander Knight, or go to, these guys, they can fix that. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And that Sports Center show we did was really like, that was where it was really like, audio-wise, everything was like, ball's in your court. Just go do your thing. I trust you. I'm not going to question anything. Just go do it.
Yeah, no, like, I gotta tell you, like, I would cry if I had to do half of the stuff that y'all do tech-wise. Like, I'm tech stupid. It's like it was shooting this documentary is so silly to me. Like, I'm shooting a documentary that I have no idea how to edit. I have no idea how to do anything.
That's why I
to
know
it.
how to edit.
This guy has to edit his own movie. The movie's about him, and he gets to edit it how it's going to be because I have a vision and I can hold the camera. And that's what I do. Like, I've had to, like...
Man, I honestly cannot tell you how many times I have found myself either rewiring entranceway lights because the stuff's strobing out and not working right, or like under the table inside the audio rack, like rewiring the rack because for some reason the sub's cut out during somebody's entrance, or for some reason the top's cut out during somebody's entrance, and I'm back there just scrambling. Or like, it's like, Chris, just get them in the ring, get the bell rung, I'll take care of it. And I've got like 8 minutes to like dig through and completely rewire everything. Like, during the Sports Center show, if you were paying attention, you'll see me on the stage a couple times because I had that PA rocking so hard that the speakers were walking off that composite stage. And I would run out and pull them back on the stage and get them back where they needed to. I had a really bad like ground buzz at one point and unplugged and swapped a cable out in the middle of a match. Just like ran out really fast. So like, I can put out fires pretty quickly as long as I can narrow down exactly what the problem is beforehand. But luckily, knock on wood, I've got everything pretty much streamlined at this point that I know where my first point of failure is going to be. That if something does start happening, I'm like, okay, I know exactly where to check first.
100%. And I mean, it's just, the work you guys put in there, man, it's insane. Like, it makes me feel like such a rinky-dink operation going on, what we have with the podcast. I'm like, I tell him all the time, like, imagine what we would have to do when this thing actually picks up, because my attitude about it is not if this thing picks up, it's when this thing picks up. Because if I say if, then I'm manifesting options, and that's not a choice here. I need this thing to be. We put it on the back of our shirts. We're the best wrestling podcast because it was a silly little acronym out of the name of the show that we could make that out of. We put it on the back of the shirt. Well, see, now we got to go with that. And like we're sitting here, and I'm like, dude, it takes more work just to operate their lights than it does for us to record that show. What are we gonna do when we have to do more stuff? Like, because I know nothing.
You think about Litchfield, right?
Right.
So all of our hysterias are from Litchfield.
Right.
So not only backstage at the gorilla position do you have the computer that plays the entrance videos and all the pre-tapes and stuff like that. On this table, I want you to imagine like a standard white folding table. You have entranceway, like music video and all that stuff on one computer. You have a TV that's linked directly to the hard cam so we can see what's going on out there. You have a lighting computer. Right next to that, you have a recording computer. Because on the Litchfield shows, we're also doing hysteria. So not only am I running lights and helping Chris run sound, I'm also actively tracking the shows and monitoring, like, are levels right? Is everything coming in hot enough? Or is it too hot coming in? Like, I'm actively doing that stuff. And with those hysteria shows, we don't use the same like PA backstage that we normally do. Like normally, we've got an actual little mixing board. Like it's like a little 4-channel Behringer and everything's on a fader. But when we do hysteria, we're using my digital 16 input mixer. So the actual mixer itself is on my recording computer because it doubles as my recording interface. So I have, let's see, I have like 6 channels of audio coming in, so I don't need all the channels I've got. But I'm also, while I'm taking all those channels in, actually it's more than that. Yeah, no, it's 6. I'm taking all those channels in, but I'm also dumping everything back out to the crowd. So I'm like back and forth between 2 computers all night while also doing pre-tapes and pulling footage and getting stuff over. And then if a camera, like if an SD card gets full on a camera, they run back to me and they're like, hey, change this card, do this. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have to run one camera for now while I pull this footage so you can go back out there and finish the show. So it's like, Litchfield shows are like the most hectic. And then to turn around and then be like, the last one I was in, like, had to do all that, plus I was in a dog collar match. Like,
yeah. Yeah, then you got to go back there and be like, ow, every time you have to just ow.
Some people think it's just you show up and wrestle and it's like, hey, Alexander Knight, me, you know, like all over the TikTok and photos and like all this other stuff. And sometimes she's got to run a camera too. And then like concession, Terry and Billy and them at the door and Sarah over at merch, we're all like our asses off.
Right.
While also trying to do other things. Like most can more fun being at that table and laughing about something after it had tore up and I got it fixed, obviously. But I had more fun have shows, and that's, I know it's weird to say, but those are like moments those are moments people don't get to see. Those are moments that are just like, it's me and it's the boys. It's like we're there. It's like when y'all are recording your podcast, like if one of y'all says something like really funny that goes over whoever's on the pod's head, but y'all like shoot an eye over at each other and like, oh, that was a good one. Like it's those moments like that, those intangible things that you don't get that I think are like a lot of fun.
You don't know how often I've actually told him, like, because I want to like make this thing bigger than just like a audio podcast. Like we've gotten the camera, we're organizing getting a live podcast with Munchie done because Leon has this, like, I mean, Munchie's our boy and everything, but like Leon over here really waves that guy's banner. So we were like, that's going to be, you know, so Yeah, like that's dude. I tell you, like that's his
Of
dude.
all people, Munchie.
Yeah, Munchie's his dude, man. Like, I mean, like I talk to Munchie a lot, but like,
Look, I don't like poking bears, but sometimes I do like poking bears. And you've got the nerve, Cortland Moore, to call me a dork or whatever you just said about me liking Munchie, coming from the guy who kept his best friend's beard in a toolbox.
Yeah,
Sir.
so.
Hi, Jen like that. Hi.
Sir.
Sorry.
Sir, I'm gonna tell you right
Frustration
What kind of
over.
trouble do you get for liking Munchie?
now. Yeah,
Because Munchie's great.
yeah, but I mean,
Sorry, guys.
nah, I like that guy, but like Leon, I'm gonna tell you right now, you couldn't imagine what it'd be.
I love Munchie.
He's great. He is
I
good.
love
He's
Munchie.
really good.
I like to give him shit.
He's great.
Well, I'm gonna tell you guys what.
I almost died trying to help Munchie
Oh.
for a shoot, so that's the semi-truck accident.
Oh, gotcha.
So I almost legitimately, like, when we talked about that on the 3 Company Killers podcast, so it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not that long of a story, and I don't care to tell it, but it's like, I almost died trying to help that dude, so I have a bond with Munchie that, I really, honestly, I have a bond with Michael Caden, Munchie Gonzalez, MK Swift, that I probably don't have with anybody else on the roster.
Right.
Those guys are great. But I'm going to tell you guys what. I have got to put a pin in this thing because I want a part 2.
Yep.
I could keep this thing going for 2 more hours, but I want a part 2. And I got to go throw groceries down a baby's neck. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put a pin on this. I'm going to ask you the question we ask everybody because on your part 2, we won't ask you this question because we've already asked you. We ask everybody at the end of the shows one particular question because we like to talk about hindsight and learning lessons and things like that, how important it is to remember your past so that to help you through your present and your future and things like that. So I want to go back. You know, I give you a time machine. You get one charge, and that charge is to go back to 2012 when you're getting into the business and everything like that. What's something you're going to tell that guy that might help him through, just make things a little easier? What's something you wish you would have known then, I guess is a better way to put it.
We always love the.
I know. It's my favorite question to ask people because it puts you on a different kind of spot. You know what I mean?
I get credit for this question because it's my question, but whatever.
Man, honestly, I don't know because, I don't know, this may seem like a total
That's the first I don't
bullshit
know.
answer.
That's awesome.
This may be a total bullshit answer, but it's like, if I go back and tell myself anything, like, I feel like I change everything that's happened. So, like, if I go back and I'm like, hey, you know, like this, or this, it's gonna affect something. And it's like, we've all seen enough comic book movies to know that you don't mess with the timeline, because if you mess with the timeline, you jack everything up. Even if it's just like, hey, go take care of your, you know, like, better care of your diabetes. Like, that's gonna affect the timeline, because, like, if I take care of my diabetes better in 2012, maybe I don't take the time off to have the eye surgery and then come back and have the big moment that takes 3CB out of the tag team division, or it causes the joint problems with my shoulders and stuff and the slower healing, and I take the time off and come back and have the program I did with Michael Caden. Or even something as simple as, if I go tell 2012 me to take better care of myself, maybe me and Jennifer don't get together in 2014. So it's like, I almost wouldn't change anything, if that makes any sense, because starting in 2012, I started managing. So I learned about how to work in front of a crowd, how to cut a promo, how to put a match together, all those things for 6 years, and got to, you know, manage Tracy Smothers and work against Rikishi and work against Jim Duggan and Tatanka and the Hurricane. I got to learn all these things for 6 years before I got in, like, actually put my feet in the ring as a wrestler. So, honestly, I don't think I change anything.
I gotta tell you, like, I say this a lot because every time I get one of these answers, I enjoy it. I think that's probably the better of the questions that or the answers we've gotten, because nobody ever really thinks about it that way, and I like a different perspective, especially that question, because I have things like that too, where I'm like, I wanted to keep doing this wrestling thing. My mother and I talk about this all the time, where she's like, what's the job you would want to do, other than the line of work you're in now? And I was like, professional wrestling. And she's like, all right, but that's gone. I think that's past. And then I sit and think about it, like, it is gone. It is past. It is now behind me. I need to figure out what the future is.
Now you get to help me with mine.
And then I'm like, if I could go back and do this again, if I could go back and do this again, maybe I did do the wrestling thing. Maybe I never got off the drugs.
True.
Maybe, because all the pain I'm in, the drug use went up. I'm definitely one of those guys that was going to overdose if I kept on for too much longer. Fentanyl wasn't a thing yet, and if that would have been a thing, I wouldn't be sitting here. So I think about it like that, but then I try not to think about it like that, because then it just gets kind of scary at some of the choices. Then you start staying up all night thinking about how the universe is just a spinning rock in space, and then panic attacks happen and stuff we got to take care of in a therapist's office. But that is probably...
So to sum it all up, Cortland Moore, you would go and tell your past self, just keep doing what you're doing.
Or avoid contact.
Or avoid contact.
I'd avoid contact.
Yeah, because then you could...
He'd be sneaking around like the bolo hat guy.
Flashpoint things, and it'd be like in the Flashpoint where not only was the Flash affected, but so was like so many other people years before it messed up the entire timeline. I love it, but again, I've got to stop myself because I have to go be a dad, and we can go 2 hours on alternate timelines.
I know you got to go be a dad, but I want to ask a favor.
Let's do it.
This podcast. I know you said you keep this PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
And I accidentally said a naughty F word.
We're leaving it in.
Delete that one, because I want to use a naughty F word to tell a joke on my way out.
Oh, no. We'll keep them both. We'll keep them both. Leon's giving me the nod.
Well, this one's gonna have two. So bleep the first one.
Okay.
This one's gonna have two, and I'm gonna tell you a joke.
And then we're going to end this show.
And then we will end, and I hope you think that the use of the naughty F words is appropriate.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
He's got in a grocery store, and he's standing there, and he's stocking shelves, and he's putting some stuff up. Lady comes up, taps him on the shoulder. Sir, trying to find the broccoli? He says, sorry, ma'am, fresh out of broccoli, but we should be getting more on the truck on Tuesday. If you'd like to come back Tuesday, we'll get you some more. We'll get you some broccoli. He turns around, he starts stocking the shelves. Lady taps him on the shoulder again. She goes, sir, I'm trying to find the broccoli. He said, again, fresh out of broccoli. You can get it Tuesday. He turns around, he starts stocking the shelf again. Well, this lady grabs him and spins him around and gets right in his face. And she says, sir, I'm trying to find the broccoli. And he goes, okay. Lady, I want you to do me a favor. She says, okay. He goes, I want you to spell cat, as in you have a pet cat. And she says, okay. C-A-T. He says, perfect. Now spell dog, as you have a pet dog. And she says, okay. D-O-G. He says, excellent. Now spell fuck, as in broccoli. She goes, there is no fucking broccoli. He said, that's exactly what I've been doing.
No, both of them are staying it. They're staying it. It's all staying
How
in.
ironic
This is going to be a soft
that
bar.
we work in a grocery store and our truck day is a Tuesday.
I knew you were going to say that. But we're leaving those in because if you got to bleep out too many, it's really, really hard.
Ask Devin Parker, he'll tell you.
It was way too much.
I told you, you delete the one from earlier, and then if you bleep those and that joke, it ruins
We'll be okay. We'll be okay. We'll be
It's
okay.
PG-13. You can get away with a couple of them.
Yeah, I get to cut away with a few. Guys, I'm going to tell y'all what, man. This was a super fun show. I think this now counts in as the longest we've done.
Next
Maybe.
to Chris Waddell.
Maybe. And that's what I enjoy, because when they go long, that means we had fun. And we're going to do this again in a part 2, definitely.
Short podcasts are fun too for everybody who didn't go 2 hours. Don't let Casey think that we didn't have fun, because we did.
Leon, stop talking to me.
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams.
So, guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in, listening to us ramble on about everything, and yet not even scratching the surface, which is what part 2 is going to be.
Maybe live. Maybe live.
You guys love yourselves, love each other, take care of each other. Let's get through this thing. so we can watch our wrestling, man. That's what's important, is watching sweaty dudes in their underwear slamming each other. That's what's brought us all to the table. We love you all. Have a good night, Leon. Don't put any hot dogs in your butt. Thanks, Mom.